Hello everyone, welcome back to Garden Fever. I'm Corey Lefevre, your host, coming directly to you from northern Utah in the United States. I want to thank you for joining me today. Got some couple of things that I'd like to talk to you about. One of them of which is probably on the minds of a lot of people, and that's how can you benefit from your garden and take the edge off of your bills, money. As everyone knows, we're on our way into a recession if you're here in the United States, and I have a feeling, depending on where you are in the world, but most likely economic situations and money situations are on your mind. Now, I'm not a finance channel, but I did want to address that and talk to you guys and everyone about that today, because it's back in 2020, the world government's printed off a lot of money, a ton of money, and it's inevitable. It's basic supply and demand. When you print off billions, trillions, depending on what government and what country you're from, to stimulate the economy, there's one inevitable thing that comes from that, and that's inflation. And we are all being hit with that hardcore, because this is the first time in world history where all the world governments, or pretty much all the world governments, did this, at least to some degree, which caused major inflation in the world. I come from the United States, and we printed off $4.5 trillion in the last couple of years, and it got us through while everyone was shut down, but this caused an array of problems throughout the world. So today we're going to be talking about how your garden can kind of take the edge off of your bills and take the edge off of recession, inflation, because the price of food skyrocketed. Not all items skyrocketed, but a lot of them did. So how can your garden help you? So with that, let's get into it. But before we do, why don't you hit that like button? It really helps me out with the YouTube algorithm, and helps me get noticed, and I truly appreciate that. So how can your garden help you? That is the question today. Well, it can help in a few ways. If your garden's established, it will continue to supply food for you throughout the year. Now, that's only in the growing season, so how it can help you is by food storage, through not having to buy so many groceries. A lot of times I will buy the stuff that I can't grow in my yard, such as meat and maybe wheat. I don't have a whole lot of corn. I had a bunch of stuff happen to me in the beginning of the year, and I wasn't sure if I was going to keep my house, so I didn't have a huge garden that I put in this year, but I have perennials that return year after year after year that are doing well and are in full bloom. With that, you can freeze dry, you can just dry, can, and this will preserve your harvest throughout the year. There are a few things to note too, that there are certain times when certain plants are more available than others. Obviously, a lot of the fruits and vegetables come at the later part of the season, so you'll want to can, dry, or freeze dry your foods and put them in a food storage to go through the winter. There are some plants that particularly the tubers, such as onions, green onions. I've done videos on green onions and how you can make them everlasting. I mean, that is the point of perennials, is for them to return year after year after year, but you can rotate generations at the same time to where you just never run out. Another one that I truly like, which I'll leave in the description, is the Jerusalem sunchoke. It is an excellent tuber that grows in the ground and actually tastes better as you get to colder weather. This is also one that after winter, as you head into spring, you can dig up immediately and still have a food source. So that's one example of a food crop that can benefit you. As prices rise, you can, especially as we go into the fall, you can always go out to pick out your tomatoes, your lettuces, your onions, your potatoes, your sunchokes, fruits and vegetables, guys. This helps a lot, because then you only have to buy the things in the store, such as buns, wheat, meats, and things like that. Eggs, if you have chickens in your garden, you got eggs. So this can provide and lower your grocery bill and help you in times of recession and high inflation. I think the key is to establish a garden, and it's always hard when you are just barely thinking of this because economic hard times are here for a lot of us. Debt's rising, savings are draining, and it's more than likely not going to go away soon. So hopefully you're not out there buying Gucci bags and Lamborghinis and things like that. Instead, you'd want to establish your garden, and this can help take the edge off of the financial strain. Nothing beats going out to your garden, going out, cutting your own lettuce, your own tomatoes, your own onions, and only having it be 10 feet away from your home rather than going to the grocery store. Will save you gas, it'll save you time, and it's also more nutrient dense. You can control the soil, and that helps provide the vitamins and nutrients and minerals within those vegetables that is often lacking in mass-produced fruits and vegetables in the store. Everybody knows, and everybody will agree, that when you bite into a homegrown tomato and out of your backyard garden, it tastes so much better than the ones that you buy at the stores. So there's a lot of benefits that can come from having your own garden and producing as much food as you possibly can within your own space, within walking distance, that you have control of. And if you learn how to preserve that, whether it's through drying, canning, or freeze drying, this can last you much longer than just the end of fall where most people harvest their crops. So with that, I want to thank you for joining me today. We'll have another video on is gardening cheap or is it expensive, and we'll answer that in another video, so be sure to check that one out when it comes out. With that, I'd like to thank you for joining me today. I want to give a shout out to my subscribers. You're awesome. And please hit that like, share, subscribe, comment, hit that like button once again, and let's make this world a paradise one yard at a time.